Welcome back to another epic recap on the GB Winhouse YouTube channel. Please make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to catch our updates. Our unlucky heroine just woke up inside a wildly dramatic masterpiece, co-authored by 10 different writers. This chaotic story featured 10 stunning male leads, each radiating completely unique aura, all hopelessly obsessed with the flawless female protagonist. Sadly, our girl completely missed that glamorous script. She became a background extra with zero screen time. But honestly, this tiny obstacle would never break her, since she memorized the entire plotline. She excitedly planned on exploiting those juicy spoilers to finally live comfortably. Something impossible in her miserable past life. Sadly, grand fantasies remain flawless, while brutal reality delivers a harsh slap. Being a lowly peasant, escaping poverty felt mathematically impossible. One exhausting afternoon, while slaving away at a diner, her utterly useless friend, Bully, dragged an intimidating group of strangers inside. A terrifyingly handsome knight glared at her. "Are you Daisy Heidi?" Before her panicked brain could form words, that absolute pig of a teammate started aggressively sobbing, "Daisy, please forgive me, accidentally," serving her identity on a silver platter. These imposing knights belonged to the fearsome Duke Handstone, arriving to drag her to judgment. The ruthless guards violently shoved her into a carriage. Meanwhile, her shameless friend had the audacity to ask, "Hey, can you ask if the Duke is hiring?" Daisy furiously swore to absolutely destroy this pathetic clown the next time their paths crossed. According to the original lore, Duke Handstone was a devastatingly gorgeous tyrant who literally controlled everyone's life and death. Yet he remained a mysterious shadow. He was actually the beautiful heroine's ridiculously powerful father. Trembling, Daisy stepped forward and instantly dropped to her shaking knees, completely overwhelmed by an unbelievably extravagant office that honestly looked like a palace. His grace glared like an apex predator, demanding her background information. After the terrified girl finished explaining, his deep voice suddenly echoed. "You previously waited tables at that portside tavern, correct?" She nervously stammered that she was still employed there, but the incredibly arrogant nobleman smirked. "Not anymore, because you are officially fired." Shocked beyond belief, she snapped her head up, locking onto his ridiculously breathtaking visuals. A few drops of fangirl tears shamelessly escaped her lips before she frantically scrubbed them away with her sleeve, her starry eyes completely glued to his face, refusing to blink. Suddenly, the terrifyingly gorgeous boss pulled a dazzling pendant, violently tossing it like garbage. Care to explain this shiny trinket? Your absolutely brainless buddy pawned it. The merchant instantly smelled a dirty thief and reported the entire mess. Do you comprehend the deadly consequences of trafficking stolen goods in my territory? I swear to mercilessly exterminate any filthy rodents inside my lands. That idiot confessed you provided the treasure. Surging with intense pressure, he aggressively stood, ruthlessly crushed the precious gem beneath his boot, aggressively demanding, "Where did you steal this?" Shivering pathetically under his boots, she searched her memories. That massive loser was technically her first friend, upon waking up in this massive fantasy universe. Just yesterday, that annoying parasite approached her looking absolutely pathetic. When she asked why, he wildly launched into a dramatic hug. She threw a kick to block him, successfully maintaining personal space. "Spit it out before I snap," the dramatic crybaby sobbed, wailing that his house was getting auctioned, leaving him totally broke. Plus, his mother was battling a deadly sickness, requiring insanely expensive holy medicine. Unfazed, our broke queen deadpanned, "I live paycheck to paycheck. Do I look like a walking gold mine? Trauma dumping solves nothing." But the annoying roach kept whining, crying pathetic crocodile tears. Pushed to her limit, she sighed and tossed him a wooden box. It contained the cursed jewelry currently under his grace's boot. The greedy rat attempted a gratitude tackle, but got violently shoved. Radiating intense aura, she warned, "I am saving your life exactly once. If a filthy commoner flashes royal treasure, they will instantly execute me as a thief. Therefore, even if you swallow a massive financial loss, avoid mainstream boutiques like the plague." Predictably, That brainless baboon nodded, then immediately sprinted to the fanciest jewelry store ever. Hearing this, the gorgeous tyrant scoffed. That rat claimed he urgently needed fast cash to buy a luxury carriage for his lover. That romantic revelation literally boiled her blood, blasting furious steam from her ears. The boss lazily added, "This drama means nothing. Explain where this artifact came from," she smoothly answered. "I legitimately bought it at an auction. No thievery involved, I swear!" Hearing the word auction, His Grace instantly checked the archives and discovered the original aristocratic owner recently perished. The highly classified liquidation of their remaining assets was an exclusive secret for relatives. For a penniless waitress to magically attend and win this, it sounded absolutely impossible. Smirking, she thought, "Please, I literally know every secret inside this universe." But speaking up felt utterly suicidal. Meanwhile, the tyrant impatiently prepared to drag her straight toward execution. Throwing caution away, Daisy spilled everything! A terrifyingly amused smirk crossed his face, until her next confession completely shattered his composure. Betting her very life, she aggressively lore-dumped. She bombarded the tyrant with forgotten top-secret details to desperately prove her insane claims. Her frantic rambling lasted until twilight. Miraculously, his murderous aura faded, but right as her lungs finally gasped for sweet air, he abruptly demanded, "So what exactly is this novel called?" Pure icy dread paralyzed her as she stuttered, "The reason why the Duke's daughter was rolling around in the pumpkin patch." He frowned, coldly muttering, "My precious angel despises muddy farmland, doesn't she?" "Sweating bullets!" she internally screamed. "Without a spicy clickbait title, we would get 0 views." Despite coining that atrocious name herself, the sheer cringe was physically agonizing. Yes, she was the guilty creator. She had actually awakened inside her own unhinged webtoon. A chaotic masterpiece co-written by 10 shameless women. These degenerate authors unleashed their wildest fantasies, birthing 10 insanely gorgeous male leads. Each psycho embodied their specific twisted cravings. Absolutely unhinged, they passionately projected their deepest thirst into text. Sweating nervously, she confessed this forbidden lore completely. While drowning in pathetic memories of her tragic past life, his booming voice interrupted. "Wait, is My Little Princess the main character?" Trembling under his gaze, she whimpered. "Yes," his chest puffed out proudly. "Obviously, my flawless angel deserves the spotlight." Then his terrifying scowl returned. "Wait, what exactly does a highly depraved romance novel mean?" Flashing back to the shockingly explicit smut scenes involving his beloved daughter, she gulped, facing his deadly stare. Lying was her only survival. Coughing awkwardly, she lied, saying depraved simply means facing immense psychological trauma and stress. His terrifying aura returned. So her destined future is absolute misery. She bowed furiously. His overprotective instincts flared again. Who marries her? Sweating buckets, she dodged the trap. You mean the various handsome gentlemen her ladyship might eventually encounter someday? He snapped, growling dangerously. Just the male leads! She squeezed her eyes shut. Exactly 10. He practically teleported from his chair, completely horrified. He roared. 10 filthy scoundrels dare defile my innocent angel in some trashy smut story? Murderous bloodlust exploded as he swore to slaughter every single suitor. Witnessing his apocalyptic rage, she stepped back, frantically begging. That tragedy is years away. Why not employ my insider knowledge instead? Let me shield your precious daughter. Possessing the creator's authority? I guarantee a better fate. His piercing crimson eyes locked onto hers. You dare swear to protect Pieta? I can rewrite fate entirely, constructing unbreachable blockades so those horrible garbage men never even breathe near her. His deadly voice dropped. And your punishment for failing? I wager my very soul? Sadly, her miserable life held 0 value here. Suddenly, a frightened butler interrupted regarding the late hour. The ruthless tyrant gasped dramatically. Because of this nonsense, I almost miss my daily cuddles with Pieta. She stared blankly at his absurd mood swings. Halting mid-step, he glared back. You swore you possess the power to defend my darling, right? She nodded. Absolutely, my lord. Deciding to test this ridiculous claim, he granted her an audition. Despite his burning suspicion, an opportunity blossomed. He dramatically offered his large gloved hand. Blushing at the romance trope, she reached out, but he yanked her upward violently, barking furiously. Hurry up! We are wasting precious parenting time! However, from kneeling on the cold marble, her useless legs gave out, sending her crashing down! His overactive imagination triggered again. Is the creator forbidden from meeting her protagonist? Leaving her behind, he sprinted toward the nursery. She limped desperately behind him. Pausing at the doorway, he coldly warned, You are merely a temporary nanny candidate. Earning this position relies entirely upon my little angel's final judgment. Instantly dropping the terrifying villain persona, he entered beaming, scooping up his adorable child. Right then, the legendary female lead finally graced her vision. A ridiculously cute little cherub, shattering the dark gothic atmosphere of the original Webtoon. Little Pieta sported incredibly fluffy, cotton candy hair. Desperate to squish those chubby cheeks, she physically restrained her hands. To secure this paycheck, she fiercely suppressed her screaming inner fangirl. Offering a warm greeting, she watched the timid angel bury her face away. The arrogant father flashed a disgustingly smug grin that practically mocked. Did a lowly commoner really expect to charm my divine princess? He completely underestimated the power of the original creator. She knew every single hidden preference embedded in her coding. This sweet tooth adored emerald hues and chubby amphibians. Reaching into her magical pocket, she produced an adorable green frog candy. It was super effective, successfully baiting the shy toddler into a tea party. She mercilessly bombarded the child with her absolute favorite sugary treats. Feeling threatened, the jealous tyrant desperately announced dinner time, but the author whipped out her ultimate weapon, an exclusive pumpkin gummy. According to the lore, this flavor provided absolute emotional healing. Tasting the magical sugary goodness, the euphoric baby tackled her with a giant hug, demanding, You adore pumpkins too? Daisy squealed with absolute joy. Without pumpkin sides, I absolutely cannot eat my meals. Hearing this, little Pieta suddenly dashed toward the imposing Duke. Just as he thought his precious daughter disliked Daisy, Pieta shyly confessed, I believe Miss Daisy would make a wonderful nanny. After dropping that bombshell, she bashfully sprinted away. The handsome Duke was utterly speechless. While Daisy's cheeks flushed with excitement, the overprotective father reluctantly agreed to make her the nanny. Daisy beamed with joy over becoming little Pieta's caretaker. However, the cold Duke chimed in, You only need to play the nanny role, because your true divine mission is blocking my precious daughter from meeting those romance heroes. Daisy grinned. Then let us discuss salary. The Duke shot her a completely disdainful glare. He gracefully turned toward his massive desk, immediately drafting a binding contract. It demanded Daisy reside at the Grand Ducal estate. For every romance hero she successfully blocked, she would earn 10 times her base pay. Gazing upon that astronomically massive salary figure, Daisy's jaw slammed the floor. Without a second of hesitation, she enthusiastically signed her name. The Duke smugly tucked the golden contract away. Pulling out an elegant notebook, he strictly ordered Daisy to jot down every detail about those romance heroes. Scanning her messy list, the sharp Duke instantly recognized a major pattern. The two most dangerous threats originated from the Imperial Royal Family and the glorious Magic Tower. However, since those heroes' names were ridiculously complicated, Daisy fried her poor brain but only remembered 5. She frantically promised that if she saw their gorgeous faces again, she would definitely remember. The Duke smirked. Then, for tomorrow's banquet, simply invite every single noble, Daisy asked, utterly dumbfounded. Was this party already planned? The domineering Duke smirked. Cannot you see I am writing invitations? That night, the Duke's shadow guards frantically delivered countless elegant invitations. By morning light, Daisy happily began to daydream that she, a fake nanny serving the absolute most prestigious ducal household in the entire glittering empire, would naturally get to enjoy a life of fabulous luxury and splendor. She could gracefully attend noble balls, giggling foolishly with absolute joy. However, the strict Duke cruelly forced her into a plain servant disguise. Servants could roam the sparkling ballroom completely unnoticed, making it infinitely easier to secretly identify the romance heroes. The horrifying problem was this grand ball hosted 150 guests. Poor Daisy was absolutely overworked by demanding noble ladies and spoiled misses, while the devilish Duke lounged luxuriously on a long sofa, comfortably enjoying the chaotic show. Just as exhausted, Daisy felt completely ready to quit her job. She suddenly saw a beautiful pregnant lady strolling past. Like lightning, Daisy instantly recalled one dangerous male target, a truly unhinged genius, with piercing crimson eyes from the novel. After meeting grown-up Pieta, he would fall obsessively in love, sacrificing his entire empire for her heart. But incredibly, he was not even born yet. He remained inside that woman's womb. Just as Daisy felt confused about what to do, an arrogant nobleman violently bumped into the fragile pregnant woman. Instead of apologizing, the absolute jerk simply scowled with profound annoyance, audaciously blaming the woman for walking slowly. This trashy man was actually a noble marquis, attending the grand ball to help his daughter score a fantastic impression with the intimidating Duke, hoping to win a coveted marriage proposal. While Daisy stood there, still intensely wondering what the original heroine's mother was like, she suddenly noticed the pregnant woman looking to be in devastating, agonizing pain. Daisy immediately dragged a velvet chair over. The exhausted woman sat down, and Daisy softly asked, "Countess Raphael, are you all right?" The startled Countess asked. "Do you know me?" Daisy quickly fabricated a brilliant excuse, claiming that the caring Duke had strictly ordered his staff to protect her due to her delicate pregnancy. The noble lady felt profoundly grateful, expressing a strong desire to personally thank the generous Duke. Just as our frantic Daisy was also pivoting to report this massive villain sighting, a creepy elderly noble suddenly cornered her, audaciously grabbing her. How on earth could our fierce Daisy ever tolerate such disgusting harassment? Acting on instinct, she snatched a silver plate and ruthlessly smashed his ugly head. Watching the pathetic old creep agonizingly clutch his scalp, Daisy's adrenaline faded, realizing she just caused a massive aristocratic scandal. The furious geezer glared with murderous intent, lunging forward to strike her. But suddenly, the handsome Duke miraculously appeared, smoothly taking the plate from Daisy's grasp. The furious man pointed angrily at the huge bump on his head, loudly demanding punishment for the ill-mannered maid. However, the Duke flashed a dangerously wicked smile, revealing a much larger wooden tray, handing it to Daisy, whispering darkly, "If you intend to strike him, use this heavier weapon." Daisy thought in sheer horror, "Does he really want me to shatter his skull?" The battered old aristocrat gasped in utter disbelief. "Are you seriously punishing me over a lowly maid?" The domineering Duke gripped his face, growling with icy frost. "I will never allow anyone to disrespect my people." Hearing this heart-fluttering declaration, Daisy froze, completely stunned. The Duke immediately ordered his guards to forcibly remove the old man from the hall. Staring at the gorgeous broad shoulders of her fiercely protective boss, Daisy's cheeks erupted into a blazing inferno of sheer romantic panic. That snooty noblewoman was entirely smitten, fluffing her dress to shoot her romantic shot. But our handsome Duke gave her absolutely zero attention, freezing her right there, marching away instantly. Both the humiliated girl and her panicked father sensed incoming terrible disaster. Why? Because our overprotective male lead spotted a creepy weirdo bothering Daisy. After brutally terrifying him far away, Daisy eagerly tried dropping massive story spoilers regarding an upcoming handsome protagonist, but his powerful grace suddenly bossily hushed her lips. "Come straight to my private study once this boring banquet completely finishes." Then he dramatically left. Juicy gossip instantly exploded among the nosy noble crowd. While Daisy felt incredibly thankful for her grumpy knight boldly saving her reputation, being the literal center of attention felt incredibly awkward. Realizing the adorable little Pieta was totally missing, our heroine sneaked towards the tiny angel's bedroom, gently tapping upon the heavy wood. Hearing absolute silence, she slowly peeked inside the dark, extremely quiet, peaceful room. The precious tiny munchkin was pouting on her gigantic bed, looking exactly like a lonely stuffed animal. Daisy instantly suffered a massive critical hit of absolute cuteness. She sweetly cooed. "Aw, is my adorable princess feeling grumpy?" The tiny angel grumbled. "I am completely officially grounded. I desperately wanted to explore upstairs today, but that stupidly fancy adult banquet ruined all my super fun playtime master plans." Our brilliant protagonist smirked, suddenly hatching a genius rebel plan, sneaking them towards the magical balcony. Staring at the stunning starlit glass ceiling, the precious child absolutely gaped in pure wonder, declaring she desperately needed to throw her own secret celebration. Playing the perfect funny butler, Daisy jokingly took her fancy milk order. The adorable toddler shyly squeaked, "Slightly toasted is totally perfect." Our heroine chuckled. "Did your overprotective daddy absolutely forbid you? Just try flashing those massive puppy dog eyes at the terrifying Duke. He will instantly melt!" The adorable girl vigorously protested. "Nope. Actually, it is entirely my choice. I personally decided to stay hidden inside here, because those annoying adult guests keep hopelessly squishing my hair." Daisy giggled softly. "Totally understandable. Your tiny round chestnut baby head is incredibly cute." The sassy kid crossed her arms. Only Uncle gets special petting privileges, not you." "Wait, pause!" Daisy froze in sheer panic. The fearsome Duke was actually her maternal uncle? How did a massive hidden plot hole exist inside her very own brilliantly planned romance fantasy webtoon manuscript? Wait, still completely baffled, she tucked the tiny princess safely away, who was happily rocking absolutely hilarious pumpkin-patterned sleepy time pajamas. Hearing a soft snore, the angel dozed off. Completely drained, Daisy dramatically collapsed heavily onto the soft bedside rug. Her chaotic brain kept spinning over that absolutely shocking family secret. The terrifying daddy was literally an undercover maternal uncle. The adorable munchkin previously confessed that calling him dad was her only way to prevent his deeply gloomy, depressing emo moods. Not wanting to upset the precious baby, she swallowed her burning curiosity. Suddenly, an overwhelming wave of absolute sheer exhaustion hit. Oh crap! The terrifying Duke was impatiently expecting a midnight rendezvous, but her heavy eyelids ruthlessly betrayed her extremely poor romantic survival instincts sadly, snoozing directly upon the floor. Meanwhile, our grumpy hot male lead was pacing his gloomy, lonely office, feeling utterly hopelessly annoyed. Hunting down his missing date, he stormed aggressively upstairs, only to shockingly discover his chaotic future bride drooling happily beside the tiny crib. Chuckling softly, he romantically draped his warm coat over her shoulders. "Come sunrise!" she practically screamed concerning a brand new, handsome romantic rival. Hearing this ridiculous threat literally lived inside a womb, the entirely flabbergasted lord gave major side-eye. Our bubbly author eagerly tried hyping the future hunk, but suffered icy, ruthless, brutal rejection. "How exactly does this phantom romance completely blossom?" he growled. "Oh, he becomes her incredibly handsome private tutor." The mighty lord absolutely scoffed. "A wealthy, aristocratic nobleman doing miserable peasant tutoring labor?" She waved her hands. "Actually, his fancy family goes spectacularly bankrupt, forcing the tragically poor pretty boy to desperately hustle for expensive college tuition coins." Sighing deeply, she dramatically narrated his future crazy obsession with the heiress. Being completely dirt poor, he utterly loses his pathetic mind over her. Seriously, parenting represents gulp. Mid-sentence, absolute pure terror. Violently struck as the insanely jealous father unleashed a terrifying blizzard aura. Sweating bullets, she frantically babbled, "Wait, definitely not your precious daughter. Listen up. We literally just blocked the handsome guy from securing that teaching job." Boom! Their entire tragic romantic destiny gets permanently, completely safely canceled. The overprotective dad fiercely snorted, "I completely control my family." Then he bossily kicked her outside. Hovering near the grand exit, her brain finally remembered the shocking fake daddy's secret. She aggressively spun around, demanding some juicy answers. Absolutely shocked that his future wife cleverly solved the puzzle, he dramatically slapped a massively heavy top-secret classified dossier toward her. The shocking official paperwork practically screamed the child was legally, biologically his. Squinting fiercely, he darkly, violently grumbled, "She is strictly my kid." Glaring intensely right into her trembling soul, he dangerously hissed, "If you dare whisper." Yet interrupting his intimidation, sensing his tragic hidden vulnerability, she brightly chimed, "My lips are totally, completely sealed. Boring bloodline logic aside, biology means absolute zero garbage. What truly matters is showering that sweet little angel with endless, fiercely protective, wonderful, unconditional love. It is definitely you." Hearing her bold words, the almighty boss blushed fiercely, nodding bashfully like a love-struck teenage boy. Daisy gently noted, "The little lady rocks a wild fashion completely alien to stuffy high society girls." However, after shadowing the rascal, our heroine admitted this tomboy aesthetic was flawlessly adorable. Besides, the kid absolutely loved her comfy outfits. Suddenly, His Grace marched toward the massive library wall, pushing a secret brick that dramatically spun open a hidden magical wardrobe. It was overflowing with sparkling princess gowns. The doting father sighed heavily, complaining that his massive closet was completely full, yet his fierce daughter rejected every ruffle. He stubbornly forbade anyone from styling his precious little girl. Sweating nervously, our heroine gently hinted that a girl who parkours everywhere would definitely find heavy corsets completely impossible. But this hopelessly obsessed dad totally ignored her logic. He just happily babbled, "My little genius is amazing. She already understands tactical combat mobility for sprinting." He completely convinced himself this proved she was a tactical mastermind. As for hating long, fussy hair, he proudly declared it meant she was a free-spirited artistic prodigy. The boss desperately begged Daisy to keep her future spoilers completely secret, so he could savor every single magical milestone himself. Daisy watched the blissful boss, her stomach twisting into anxious knots, absolutely panicking over the terrifying original male lead crisis. Meanwhile, the clueless boss just kept endlessly fanboying over his little girl's imaginary superpowers, literally holding her hostage until sunrise. Assuming the tiny princess was booked solid with hellish tutoring sessions tomorrow, our exhausted heroine figured she scored a lucky day off, happily crashing into bed. Suddenly, a massive earthquake-like racket jolted her awake. Rubbing her eyes, she grumbled internally, "The fancy party ended. Why is everyone running like headless chickens?" Stumbling outside, she quickly cornered a passing maid, demanding answers. The panicked girl gasped, blurting that a VIP count and his wife were arriving tonight, and the boss ordered an absolutely massive royal red carpet treatment. Daisy gasped wildly, "Wait, the Raphael family?" The maid nervously nodded in total agreement. Tossing a very quick thank you over her shoulder, our heroine sprinted toward the banquet hall like a track star. She underestimated the boss's terrifying speed. He clearly deemed her totally useless, hijacking the plot himself. Panting heavily, Daisy furiously racked her sweating brain, terrified of his secret endgame for this completely doomed couple, without dropping any spoiler warnings. Skidding into the grand dining hall, the frustrating boss was entirely missing. The butler hinted he was plotting in the study. Daisy tore the mansion completely upside down, finding absolutely nothing. Retreating to her room in defeat, she grumbled, "If that sneaky aristocrat dodges my radar until dinner time, I will crash this party." Ditching her clothes, she swapped into full undercover maid mode. Smoothly hijacking a tray from a clueless waiter, she aggressively wheeled the appetizer cart toward the VIP zone. Glancing at the insanely mouth-watering delicacies, Daisy's eyes widened in shock. Busting out legendary royal caviar for a mere count? Highly suspicious. Her brain could not decode his sneaky mastermind agenda. Reaching the mahogany doors, just as her sweaty fingers pushed them open, to politely say hello, the trembling count's voice leaked through the crack. "Your Grace, why exactly offer us such a miraculous deal?" Boom! That dramatic sentence lit explosive curiosity inside her soul. She stealthily parked the heavy trolley, spying like a ninja. The boss caught her snooping, twitching his brow, but shockingly protected her disguise. Instead, he smoothly turned back, pouring on charm while praising the Count's boring academic research as absolute god-tier genius-level work. The sly mastermind refused to let legendary talent rot away, desperately hoping the shocked Count and his wife would snatch this golden ticket. Eavesdropping nearby, our heroine's brain felt like mush, totally lost. Suddenly, the overwhelmed Count wept passionately, crying that becoming a royal scholar was his ultimate lifelong dream. Yet as an aging family man expecting a new baby, he completely surrendered. He never in a million years dreamed the terrifying mighty lord himself would personally pen a golden recommendation letter to the Tristan Empire's elite academy, the wealthy boss added. His expectations were incredibly high, urging the Count to depart immediately. He declared every single travel expense and housing bill would be covered by his wallet. Daisy was paralyzed by shock. She never imagined the boss using this wild strategy to casually deport the family far away. The clueless couple, blind to his true motives, were extremely touched, repeatedly bowing to headbutt the floor before departing. Once they vanished, Daisy instantly cornered the boss, aggressively demanding if he exiled them to avoid the future male lead. Hey, that kid is not even born yet. So, who will manage the Raphael territory? The boss casually shrugged. Among his greedy cousins, someone will surely snatch that dusty title. Besides, his son was destined to study overseas. I am just speeding up his timeline by a few decades. What is the big deal? The next morning, Daisy cornered him, gasping wildly. Did you literally clear out my entire house? The boss smirked calmly. Not unpacked yet. They literally arrived yesterday. Daisy's soul completely shattered internally. Her ultimate backup plan was completely ruined. She had secretly kept that diner job on standby, just in case her noble employment suddenly went up in flames someday. The handsome Duke tilted his head with an amused gaze. If memory serves, your finances were far too disastrous for rent. Daisy nervously mumbled that she feared sudden unemployment. Hearing this, the gorgeous noble let out a breathtaking, mocking laugh. If I planned to discard you casually, I never would have proudly claimed you as my own person before that whole crowd. Plus, you hold a dangerously huge secret. Flashing a highly seductive smirk, he whispered, Did you honestly believe I would let you escape so easily? Daisy stared at his retreating figure. Her cheeks burned red, her mind helplessly echoing, His person? What does that mean? Suddenly, Sudi informed our flustered heroine that head butler Peter received her baggage and would have it delivered immediately. Daisy eyed this mysterious newcomer, someone who literally never existed in the original web novel, and pondered deeply. Since Duke Hansen was absent early on, a random new face showing up is actually completely normal. Remembering Sudi's piercing gaze that practically scanned her soul, she swallowed hard. Even though I literally authored this entire universe, there are still way too many hidden variables I completely missed. So I better stay cautious. Just then, Butler Peter violently stomped in carrying her suitcase. He slammed it down with a thud. Peter snarled angrily. Why must I serve a lowly brat like her? He ruthlessly roasted our heroine for acting incredibly lazy despite her youth, leaving Daisy utterly bewildered by his explosive, unprovoked temper tantrum. Daisy inwardly grumbled. Dude, you could have literally just announced the luggage delivery. Why the massive drama? She almost apologized to keep peace, until adorable little Pieta suddenly rushed over for playtime. The toxic butler greeted the young lady with fake warmth, but Pieta visibly trembled in absolute terror. Instantly, Peter's fake smile vanished. He coldly demanded, Were those running footsteps just now yours, young lady? Utterly petrified, she instantly hid behind Daisy. But the tyrannical butler kept endlessly nagging, ruthlessly criticizing her for everything, from her hair and clothes to her manners. He cruelly sneered that if she continued like this, she would become an unmarriable spinster in the future, hopelessly ruining the prestigious Hansen family's flawless reputation. Hearing this absolute garbage, Daisy's patience finally snapped. Furious, she fiercely interrogated the butler on how he dared address the young lady with such venomous insults. Treating her like a worthless new maid, the arrogant butler completely ignored her. Turning back to Pieta, he barked, If the young lady completely refuses to mature, you will inevitably become a pathetic, uncultured woman. Daisy completely flared up, channeling the razor-sharp eloquence of a veteran storyteller. To retort without any mercy, she fiercely declared that if Pieta were a young master, the servants wouldn't dare be so disrespectful. Daisy sneered. "You old dog! You truly cannot utter one decent word!" the furious butler shouted. "Who are you to speak like that?" Daisy smirked. "I am the young lady's new nanny." "What, is there a problem?" The butler completely disbelieved it, having seen Daisy working at the grand banquet. But at that moment, little Pieta weakly spoke up, bravely confirming Daisy's identity as her nanny. Peter was visibly startled hearing this. Even so, he couldn't stop himself from sneering. "A commoner like you is the young lady's nanny?" Daisy thought. "Although it is a temporary bluff, I must own it now." So she firmly nodded in confirmation. The stubborn butler kept his tough facade, but his confidence rapidly crumbled inside. He growled, "If I discover you are lying, the first person kicked out of here will be you." Daisy kept her icy composure, replying, "Go ask the Duke." The furious butler screamed, "You seriously think I don't dare?" Recalling the venomous trash he spewed at little Pieta, Daisy's soul ignited. She fiercely threatened, "Even if I get fired, I will personally prepare your miserable coffin before I depart. If you value your life, you must listen to my commands carefully. Rule 1. Never spew toxic garbage at Lady Pieta again. Rule 2. If you dare call her a brat one more time before I seal your coffin, I will absolutely shatter your legs. And finally, get out of this room." Butler Peter trembled violently with pure anger, then pathetically retreated in crushing humiliation. Watching his defeated figure, Daisy's inner rage kept burning. That arrogant geezer escaped without a single apology. Daisy suddenly heard Pieta's soft voice. "Daisy, are you mad?" Daisy instantly smiled and softly cooed. "No, I am not angry," Pieta sniffled. "Mr. Peter always acts like that when he sees me." "It is my fault. I am sorry." Daisy gently took the small hand the little girl offered, comforting her. "You have zero reason to apologize. Your father is a mighty duke. Who would dare to bully the young lady?" But Pieta choked out a devastated confession. "But everyone repeats the exact same cruel insults as Mr. Peter. They claim the outfits I pick are ugly, that my short hair looks bizarre. If I ask father if it is true, they will never come to our house again." Pieta fiercely hugged Daisy and continued, "I won't tell father what just happened. If I can't see Daisy anymore, from now on, my heart will be totally shattered." Daisy suddenly thought, "The people who left, did they also judge Pieta with the same venomous eyes as that old man?" Thinking of the deep trauma the little girl endured, Daisy choked up. Pulling Pieta into a warm hug, she playfully whispered, "If this happens again, ignore your scary dad and tell me absolutely everything. Telling your dad will just terrify them away forever, but your secrets are totally safe with me." Pieta stared up at Daisy. "If I share my secrets, promise you will never abandon me?" Daisy offered her pinky finger with a gentle smile. "Forever and always." Linking their tiny fingers to seal the vow, Pieta unexpectedly blushed and mumbled, "Would you like to pat my head right now?" Daisy blinked in utter shock. "Pat your head? Seriously?" Pieta adorably pouted. "Because you are incredibly capable, super sweet, and we share special secrets. That makes us besties now." Daisy happily watched the little girl blossom with joy, finally getting to stroke those adorably soft chestnut locks. The days melted away. Their precious bond blossomed beautifully, until Pieta suddenly arrived before a mysterious door.